So there are two schools of thought when it comes to the defense after you've thrown your kick. So guys, I'm going to show you all today how to throw a good roundhouse kick. The Muay Thai roundhouse kick. The Muay Thai roundhouse kick is probably the most effective roundhouse kick. You tend to find in kickboxing and in karate, the roundhouse kick is slightly different, and I'll show you those variations. But in the interest of health and safety, I'm going to keep things nice and clean. Stay hygienic, guys. The reason I believe the Muay Thai roundhouse kick is the most effective is simple fact of the matter is they generate the most force in the technique they use. You have the karate style roundhouse kick and you have the kickboxing style roundhouse kick. This is how the karate throw their roundhouse kick and kickboxing throw their roundhouse kick. In Muay Thai, what they're doing is they're stepping in, away, foot is pointing away from my opponent, and then they chamber and they open the hip up. You open the hip on the end to the leg. But watch my hand positioning at all times. They swing. That swinging motion is what generates the power. So now to your defense, when you throw the roundhouse kick, your arm positioning. Don't worry, because you're thinking you're throwing one arm down, so you're not in a defensive stance. You are. One hand's up, and remember, you're tucking your chin behind the arm you swing down. So watch this. If I step in, there. There, I'm keeping this hand up at all times, swinging across, and then covering my chin with my arm. You can actually post against the head or the face of your opponent and swing into their head. That's my defense mechanism, keeping it there. People say, oh, you need to keep your hands up. If you keep your hands up in the guard position, you can't generate the power. It's just not possible. You haven't got that kinetic energy working. You just can't generate the power. It's just not there. But when you activate the swing, that's where the power generates from. Let me tell you, a good and well landed roundhouse kick would debilitate anybody. It'll stop anybody. Mainly if you're not a trained fighter, if you're not somebody who's used to taking these kicks to the thigh, if they haven't got the conditioned legs. What happens is over the years and years of training, your legs do get conditioned to take in the shots. But there's only so many shots you can take from a roundhouse kick to your thigh. Your inner thigh or your outer thigh. Doesn't matter how skinny the person's legs are. Someone said to me yesterday, in fact, you know who you are, Sinky. Oh, your legs are so skinny that it's more like getting hit. It'll be more like getting hit with a piece of rubber. Are you around the bend? The speed I generate in my kicks, it'll be like getting hit with a baseball bat. Come and try it. In fact, I challenge you. Come round to the gym. Let's work on that roundhouse kick to your thigh and let's see how long you last. One kick, one full power kick. You'll not be walking for a good week or two. I can guarantee that. I'll put money on it. Doesn't matter how big or muscular your legs are. In fact, the bigger and more muscle you carry on your leg, the more meat for us to attack, the more it hurts you. So the bigger legs you have, the bigger the target point is. Doesn't matter how many legs, how many deadlifts you can do, how many squats you can do, weight you can squat. If I catch you with a good leg kick, a solid leg kick, you're not going to be walking for a week or two. I guarantee it. You don't want to just launch into a roundhouse kick. Your opponent is more than likely going to see it coming because it's such a big movement. Best to set it up with a jab, 1, 2, any kind of shot before you step in and drop the roundhouse kick. Back, 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 step in. Okay, you see where my leg is ending. So this is my opponent standing here, and to drop the kick, I'm stepping outside of him. I'm stepping away from him. That's how you generate the most amount of force and the most amount of power. At the point of impact, you're almost facing away. Your back, the foot which you're loading on, you're carrying your weight on, is almost stepping away from him. Look. This is your opponent's body. In your mind, you want to visualize kicking through his body. So you're wanting to land your kick, technically, not on this side. I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to land my kick here. I want my kick to drive all the way through and end up on the other side of his body. So that's how you generate the ultimate force, is by wanting to go from one side of the body through to the other. Body kick, leg kick, driving through. And remember, the karate style, what they tend to do is, in karate and kickboxing, they tend to wear insteps, foot protection, because they tend to land the kick with their foot. In Muay Thai, they don't land with their foot. Yes, it can be effective to land with your foot. I've seen people get knocked out with foot kick. In fact, I've personally dropped somebody in a fight with a kick that was the foot that landed on their face. But in Muay Thai, we're going to land with the shin. Landing with the shin to the head, to the body, to the leg. It's like basically getting a baseball bat and swinging through. That's the motion. Swinging through the baseball bat. I'm actually extending myself away from my opponent. So if I kick and I'm here and I chamber back, it's hard for him to land a straight right or land a punch to my head or land a strike to my head, because I'm just a little bit, just that little bit away at the end of my kick. Things not to do when throwing a roundhouse kick. And I've seen loads of people do this. I've even seen coaches teaching this. And this is totally and utterly wrong. I've seen people throwing their roundhouse kick in this motion. Like a soccer kick. That's not a roundhouse kick. That's a soccer kick. It's coming up. Remember, not only is that going to potentially cause you damage, because if your opponent is in his defense mode, he's going to be in that position, and you're going to be throwing the kick up here, and it's going to end up breaking your foot or breaking your shin on his elbow. With the full roundhouse kick, you're turning in, you're lifting up, and you're turning in and extending your hip. That's the motion you're making. You're not making this motion, you're making that motion. So with that, if your opponent does have his hands up, you probably will land to the body, which is effective. This isn't going to hurt the body, that's just going to skim the body. Something I forgot to add at that section of the video was, if you're throwing the kick wrong and you're throwing the kick up, when you throw it round the way it's meant to be kicked, like the Muay Thai style, not these up kicks I keep seeing people doing, when you throw it round, even if your opponent defends it, even if he defends the kick, eventually he can only take so many kicks to the arm. That's still a baseball bat getting swung to the arm. Eventually, you can potentially break your opponent's arm, and you can potentially deaden his arm if his defense is that good. After a period of time, his arm muscles, his shoulder muscles, his bicep, his forearm muscles are going to be dead, damaged from taking all that impact. I've seen and heard of people getting their arms broken from defending a roundhouse kick. So all these up kicks, throwing kicks in that direction, it just doesn't work. It just makes no sense. You're skimming the body. It needs to come in that way. To the body, to the arm. I've seen people holding pads and holding the pad like that. That develops bad technique. They hold the pad out in that position, which makes the students training kick upwards. It's not an upward kick. Yeah, it's great for self-defense if somebody attacks you and you boot them in the balls. Fantastic. To hold your pads against your body in that position, not in that position. That position is a soccer kick. That position is a roundhouse kick to the body. So there are two schools of thought when it comes to the defense after you've thrown your kick. Some people like the style of throwing the kick and cross-blocking their face, cross-block defense. And some people throw it this way, which they defend with their shoulder muscle, arm extended, and hand up. But I kind of think in this motion, you're kind of already defending yourself with this muscle, so you don't necessarily need to come across there after you've thrown the kick. You could stay there and then you're getting more defense. But there again, I guess you're probably susceptible to a straight right or a straight foot to the chin. I think both styles work just as good. So do whatever feels natural for you. I used to defend that, throwing kicks that way. The more I've trained at Muay Thai gyms, the more I defend that way, because I guess I can kind of see what's coming more clearer than tucking myself away. With this, you're leaving your body open. But with this, you're defending your body, defending your chin, and defending both sides of your head. So keep it closed, keep it tight at all times. Throw, boom, boom. I think both work just as fine. In the past, I've used both techniques. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that instructional video on the Muay Thai roundhouse kick, which I believe is the most effective roundhouse kick. You know, I think the karate roundhouse kick is good. So is the kickboxing roundhouse kick. They're quite similar. But the problem with those kicks, which I find is, bear in mind, I come from a karate kickboxing background. I find they tend to land and the kicks are more of a flick action. While with the Muay Thai kick, it's more of a follow through action with the kick. They're throwing the kick with the full momentum of the body. I have dropped people in professional competitive fights with it. I've dropped someone before in a professional fight, with a karate kick to the head, which I landed with my foot and they dropped. Now imagine if that foot was my shin. The amount of damage, the concussion you'd cause, the damage you'd cause, you could potentially break a chin, because it's basically a baseball bat being swung at full force around with the whole momentum of the body to the head.